Hi there, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on local inventory ads. Thank you all so much for coming along today. I'm going to give people another minute just to join us here on the webinar. So welcome everybody so far anyway. Everything's looking good on everyone's end there?
Yes.
Super stuff. Okay, it looks like we have some more people joining here. That's great. I'll just give people another minute before we kick off, if that's all right. Okay, folks, it looks like we're just about ready to get started. I'd just like to start off by welcoming all of you along to today's webinar, where we'll be discussing local inventory ads. And so we know how busy retail is, especially at this time of year. So really appreciate you guys taking the time to be here today. And thank you very much. So some of the attendees here may have met me before or spoken to me before, but for those of you who don't know me, my name is Caroline Brady and I've been working with Pointy for about the last 3 years. And so co-presenting with me today on this webinar is Michelle Laughlin, and she is the Strategic Partner Development Manager at Google. So Michelle, thank you so much for today and welcome aboard.
Great, thanks, Caroline. Happy to be here.
Sure, thank you. We also have Keith Schumacher, who is the General Manager at Talbot's Toyland. And it's an absolutely incredible toy store based in San Mateo in California. So welcome to you too, Keith, and thank you very much for taking the time to be here too. We know it's an especially busy time for toy stores around this time of year.
Great, thank you for having me. I'm glad I could help out.
Oh, we're delighted to have you here. Thanks, Keith. So Talbot's Toyland was actually one of our very first Pointy users. And over the last year and a half, they've been helping us out by trialing local inventory ads. And they've really had some great success with it. So I'm going to leave it to Keith to talk about that a little bit more later on. But obviously, you know that we're all here today to mainly talk about our latest partnership with Google on the feature called Local Inventory Ads. Now, some of you may be familiar with this feature and the Pointy service in general already, but I thought it might be really helpful to give you guys a quick recap and overview for any attendees who aren't familiar with either of them yet. So in the webinar, we will be giving a high-level overview of Pointy and the services that we provide. We'll also be talking about See What's in Store, which is a feature which we partnered with Google on a couple of months back, and our latest partnership, which is called Local Inventory Ads. Then Michelle will be bringing you through our local feeds partnership with Google and explaining how Pointy has actually simplified the process of getting set up on local inventory ads, or LIA as it's often known as well. And finally, we're going to have Keith from Talbot's Toyland, who'll give us an insight into his experience of Pointy so far. So I just wanted to mention as well at this stage that this is our first time using Google Hangouts on air. We haven't quite figured out some things, including the Q&A chat function. So I'm sorry if we're not responding too quickly on that. But what I will get you to do is to send me an email to carolyn@pointy.com if you have any questions after the webinar, and I'll do my very best to answer them there individually if I can. Another thing that we have been told about is that sometimes in Google Hangouts on air that the page can freeze or get stuck on a slide. So in that case, it's best to just refresh the page. And it should start to work then for you. So I think that's probably all of the public service announcements. So we can continue on from there. So to start off, as I said, I'm going to give a really brief run through of the basic Pointy service for anyone who might be unfamiliar with it or who might be new to Pointy. So what you're seeing here is an image of the Pointy device, which plugs in between your barcode scanner and your point of sale. And you can also see here that we're integrated with Square, Lightspeed, and Clover. So retailers that are using these point of sale systems, they don't actually need a Pointy device. So in this case, all you would need is to download the app onto your Clover, Square, or Lightspeed point of sale, and you continue as normal from there. So you won't need to install the device at all. So once the device is installed, or once you have the app downloaded onto your point of sale, all you need to do is continue scanning your products as normal. We receive the manufacturer barcodes and we find names and images to match each one, and we display them on what's called a Pointy page. So here's an example of Talbot's Toyland's Pointy page. You can see they have all of their products listed on here, along with information like their contact details, their opening hours, directions to their store, links to their website. And what we do from there is we optimize every single product to rank in local Google searches. So just to mention, these are organic searches, meaning that they are not paid for. So this is an example of one here where somebody has searched for the game Bop It in San Mateo. And you can see that the first search result is for Talbot's Toyland in San Mateo. And when a customer clicks on that search result, they'll be directed to the retailer's Pointy page, where they can see all the information about that product. And they can get directions to the store, they can get contact details, and essentially everything that they would need to convert an online search into an in-store sale. So that's a basic run through of that introductory Pointy service, which was launched back originally in 2015. Now, since then, we have added some premium features to Pointy, one of which is product ads. So these were highly targeted text-based ads, Google ads, that we run across your entire product range. And a lot of retailers have had great success with these since it's launched. We've also in the last year launched See What's in Store and local inventory ads in partnership with Google. So before I go delving into See What's in Store, I think it would be very helpful to give a quick explanation of, or sorry, before I go delving into local inventory ads, it would be helpful to give an explanation of See What's in Store, because the two are actually very closely related. They really go hand in hand, and one very much complements the other. So See What's in Store is a feature that we launched in partnership with Google a couple of months ago now, and it enables stores to display their products directly in the Google Knowledge panel. So for any of you who might be a little bit unfamiliar with the Google Knowledge panel, it's that little box in the right-hand corner that pops up when you search for the name of a business on Google. So in the past, the Google Knowledge panel would have shown you information like your store opening hours and your Google reviews, and images of your store and your location on Google Maps. But now with See What's in Store, when a customer searches for your store name on Google, they'll also be able to see all of the products that you stock. So this is incredible visibility for you as a retailer, obviously. And one of the best things about it is that it's actually completely free for Pointy users. And we've really integrated it into, integrated this Google feature into the service in a way that makes it very, very easy to get set up for you as a Pointy retailer. So if you're already using Pointy, this service is actually available to you right now. So you can go on to get set up. All you need to do is log on to your Pointy page, and you want to go to the Link to Google tab. And from there, we'll guide you through the process. But it is really a very, very simple setup process with See What's in Store. And one of the great things about it is that once you have it enabled, you can almost instantly start using local inventory ads then as well. So that obviously brings me to the question of what is local inventory ads? And basically, local inventory ads allows you to visually feature your products and store information to nearby shoppers searching with Google. So as I mentioned in the last slide, See What's in Store, with See What's in Store, shoppers can see your products listed in the Google Knowledge panel when they search for your store name. But with local inventory ads, shoppers see your products at the top of Google search when they search for a product name. So in this example here, you can see that a customer has gone onto Google and they searched for a Traxxas battery near me. And Google has served up an ad to show that Talbot's Toyland are stocking this product nearby. And when a customer clicks on that ad, they are being directed to a Google hosted page called the local storefront. So it's a really, really seamless experience for the retailer. And it's a very simple and affordable way for you to advertise, just like the big box stores, which is great. So a lot of you are probably wondering, especially if you've been running the text-based Google ads through us at Pointy by using product ads, or on your own through Google AdWords, is there really any difference between them and local inventory ads? And the great news is that there are actually massive improvements across every metric with these ads. So firstly, you can see here that local inventory ads are much more visual than the original text-based ads. So you can see in this example that, for one, they display the price on local inventory ads, which they wouldn't have previously done in the text-based ads. And they're also image-based, which means that there's a much greater scope for brand building with these kinds of ads. So even if a customer didn't necessarily click on your ad, the impression that you would get from a local inventory ad would appear to have a much bigger impact on your brand overall than a text ad would have. Another great improvement with the local inventory ads is that they're much better value overall. So because they're so much more visual, people are much more likely to click on the ads. And we've actually tested this a lot. So we've had a handful of retailers who are using Pointy trial out local inventory ads with us since 2017, and we've actually found them to be about 4 times more cost effective than text ads. So it's a pretty big leap there in terms of the value that they deliver. And finally, local inventory ads are much more accurate than text-based ads because they have such brilliant keyword targeting. So with local inventory ads, Google chooses whether a search term matches a product. So even if the search term that the customer enters is slightly obscure, there's still a really good chance that they'll be served up the product that they're looking for. So you can see in this example, somebody searched for a Pokemon Go Plus battery, and the result that they got from Google was Energizer 2032 battery. So Google are pretty clever at figuring out what the customer actually was looking for based on what they've typed into the search box. So in terms of that, it's definitely an awful lot more accurate than the text-based ads would have been. So all in all, there's a much greater return on investment with local inventory ads compared to the text ads. So we've been trialing the feature with a number of retailers, as I said, since 2017. And to date, we found that they're 4 times more cost effective than text ads. The search terms are about twice as accurate, and they're as much as 10 times better than the older ad format. So you really are getting a lot more bang for your buck with these ads. Now, one thing to mention is that the local inventory ads, it's not actually a new feature to Google at all. So some of the big box retailers like Amazon like Best Buy and Walmart and Amazon actually have been using it for quite some time now. And in theory, it was available as well for independent retailers, but it was really quite tricky for them to implement. It wasn't an easy setup for a retailer to get started on local inventory ads. So we partnered with Google through their local feeds program to make local inventory ads much easier for brick and mortars to use. So I'm going to pass you over to Michelle now, who'll be able to give you a little bit more of an insight and a rundown on how we've actually been working together to make local inventory ads and the onboarding process for this much easier for retailers, just like you, local retailers.
Great. Well, thanks, Caroline. Good afternoon, everyone. As Caroline mentioned, my name is Michelle Laughlin, and I lead business development for local shopping at Google. So to give you some context, the genesis of the Local Feeds program is that Google started to realize the importance of being able to show users online what was available to them locally. And so to give you some kind of grounding numbers, shoppers are going to stores with more purpose. In a study that was co-sponsored by Google, we found that 81% of shoppers checked whether a product was in stock before heading to the store to buy it. Beyond that, we've seen 50% faster growth from local searches on mobile devices compared to just mobile searches overall. And finally, we've also seen that consumers that click on a Google search ad prior to visiting a store spend about, on average, 10% more during that visit. So all of these statistics point to the fact that shoppers really want to know what's available directly around them, which is where local inventory ads, and to Caroline's point, more importantly, making local inventory ads accessible to everyone, where that comes into play. So Caroline, if you want to go to the next slide. Thank you. So, as Caroline mentioned, the issue that a lot of small and medium-sized retailers have encountered in the past with local inventory ads is that building and maintaining the feeds required to power these ads can be cumbersome. And as a retailer, there's a number of other things you all need to focus on aside from building and maintaining feeds that you send to Google. So in order to overcome that onboarding hurdle, which is not insignificant, Google partnered with Pointy, which has access to sales and inventory data, to build these feeds on behalf of retailers, which helps take the burden off of the retailer and allows you to get your inventory online quickly and easily. Because there's definitely, per the numbers that we shared, a desire and an interest to know what's available nearby before actually going to the store. So looking at this slide, there's the traditional Google flow on the left, and then there's the Pointy flow on the right, which is a far superior just in terms of number of sheer steps, as you can see. But basically, what this slide is showing is on the left side, the typical onboarding process that a merchant would go through for local inventory ads is long. There's a number of steps to complete, including an inventory verification process where we have to cross-check the inventory data that a retailer is providing against what's actually in their store and making sure the two match. But on the right-hand side, you can see the flow when a retailer leverages Pointy to help launch local inventory ads. It's significantly less complicated. They automate a number of steps in the process to make launching local inventory ads very, very quick and easy. So it simply involves signing into your Pointy account, linking your Google My Business account so we can make sure we have the right location mapped to the inventory you're sending us, plugging in an additional Pointy device just to make sure we're accurately tracking what's been sold and what's still in store, and then enabling the ad. So the concept behind this is to really take the one pain point, which is the onboarding process, and nullify it and make it so retailers that are interested can either get their inventory online via the see what's in store option, the organic option, or the paid version, which is the local inventory ad format.
Great, thank you so much, Michelle. That was some really, really good insight there. We're obviously so delighted to be partnering with Google on this feature. And it's great to be actually helping retailers to gain access to such a powerful tool and to start using that. So one retailer that has had access to this feature a little bit earlier than everyone else and has been trialing it with us is Keith from Talbot's Toyland. So as I mentioned, Talbot's Toyland is based in San Mateo in California, and they've been piloting local inventory ads now since 2017. And during that time, their ads have been seen by over 2.8 million times, which is absolutely incredible, really, when you think about it. And the exposure, Keith has said, has definitely helped to bring in people who have never been in the store before, which is pretty impressive for a store that's really well known in the area and has been around for such a long time. So we're really delighted to be helping them. So Keith, maybe if I could get you to start off now by telling us a little bit about your store and how you got started with Pointy.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So our store is about 30,000 square feet. It is a family-owned store that was started in 1953. So this is our 65th year in business. We were having an issue with where to spend our advertising money and how do we get people to actually come into the store in a day and age where everybody's basically buying everything online. So I had gone to a trade show and someone had asked me if I had ever heard of Pointy, and kind of with a dumbfounded look, I said no. And I returned from the trade show and a gentleman by the name of Neil called from Pointy and wanted to show me how it all worked and everything else. And at first I was a little skeptical. You know, it sounded too good to be true. I believe the device is $200 if you get the boxes, or $249. I forget the actual number there. And the problem that I have is I have 10 registers throughout the store. So, you know, it's a $2,500, $3,000 investment to do this. So I kind of drug my feet a little. It was, you know, I didn't know what to really expect. The other issue that I had was the fact that the company was based in Ireland. And so if you needed help, could you get someone to help you? And after about 7 or 8 visits from Neil, you know, I looked at him and I said, either you're a really good salesman and you're not going to take no for an answer, or this is really going to work. And he said, look, try 3 of them. Put 1 at each of the 3 busiest registers and see how it goes. And the only thing I can say is I should have done it sooner. It's been absolutely incredible what this has done for us. The partnership with Google, I've always seen these beautiful ads with products and, you know, find it at Best Buy or wherever. And I always thought to myself, God, how can we do that? And it really is as simple as plugging this box in if you're not with Clover, Lightspeed, or Square. and you just ring up merchandise like you normally do, and it does its thing. We got the 3 in, connected it, and within probably a day or two, let me backtrack a little. Literally setting this up was about 10 minutes total for all 3 registers. You plug it into your scanner, you plug it into your receipt printer, and your pointy page tells you that it's communicating with the devices and everything's ready to go. And after setting it up, probably a day or 2 later, we had a very unique item last year from Lego, which was the Saturn V rocket. And because we had scanned a number of them, I immediately started getting phone calls saying, hey, I saw that you have the Saturn V in stock. Do you have one? Yes. And they would come down and buy it. And the best part about it was people were asking me, well, how do I get there? Where are you located? So I automatically knew that that was a brand new customer. And so far, so good. It's a really awesome device. The Google integration, as Michelle was saying about the product feeds, I've tried to download a template saying, okay, so I need a UPC, a short description, long description, and there's about 40 or 50 different fields that you have to fill out for every single item that you have. We have over 65,000 SKUs in this store. So that would take months and months to load that kind of data. And it was a daunting task. And the other thing was, when I think of Google, I think of this, it's the largest search engine in the world. How am I going to get someone on the phone if I have a question? And honest to God, I mean, we clicked the little button that said, activate, see what's in store. And the screenshots that you're looking at on these phones are real. I mean, this isn't a Photoshop thing that we've done. That's live, and it works. It really works.
Thank you very much, Keith. That is really, really fantastic insight for all the attendees to get here. I think it's always really helpful to hear from someone who's actually using the service, who's a real retailer just like you, and to know how they're actually finding it and how it's working and how easy it is to implement. So I'm really glad to hear that it is actually working for you. And I hope that it continues to work going forward as well. We're really, really delighted to have you on board. So if you are already a Pointy retailer and you're ready to get started with local inventory ads, it's a pretty simple process, as Keith said. So the first thing you're going to want to do is log into your Pointy page and go to the Link to Google tab. And from there, you'll need to check your eligibility and then follow the steps on screen to link your Google My Business account to your Pointy page. And then, as Keith said, we will send you out a second Pointy device for your receipt printer. And then you can pretty much almost instantly start running your product ads. So it is a much more seamless process than would have been there before. And obviously, if you're not a Pointy customer and you would like to get signed up, you can go to pointy.com and click the Apply Now button, and a member of our team will be able to get you signed up right away and get you started with all of these great features. So as I said at the start, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. And my email is there on the screen. It's caroline@pointy.com. And I will do my very best to answer them as well as I can. So thank you so much to Michelle and Keith for joining me in the webinar. And of course, thank you all very much for your time and for spending the time today to listen to us and to learn about the webinar. So before I go, Michelle and Keith, do you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think you've covered everything. Thanks, Caroline.
Great.
Yeah, the only thing I have to add is if you don't have one, go get one.
Keith, you should work at our sales team. You're great. Well, hopefully you've all found the webinar really beneficial today. Again, as I said, really grateful for you guys for taking the time to listen in, and really look forward to seeing you all get set up on local inventory ads in the future. So thanks, folks.